everyone, welcome back to Ishika Foundations. The next chapter is Preamble. Preamble was inspired from the American Constitution. N.A. Palhiwala calls the Preamble as the identity card of the Constitution. It was inspired from the objective resolutions of Nehru. The preamble was got amended in the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976 and added three words, that is socialist, secular and integrity. The first word that which we are discussing is sovereign. Sovereign means independent state. That means we are not depending on any person. We are neither depending nor dominating any other nation. Sovereign means the independence and the acceptance of the complete freedom. And of course, we are the head of the Commonwealth, and we also have the membership in the United Nations. But this will never limit our Indian sovereignty. Sovereign state also means that we can conquer any of the foreign territory, or we can give our own territory to some foreign state, and no other authority is upon us. We are the supreme. And the next word that which we are talking is socialist. It is a word which got added after the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act. Before that, the meaning of the socialism was there in the directive principles of the state policy, but the word of socialism was added after the Constitutional Amendment Act of 42. There is a reason why the amendment has happened. It is because of the Congress party adopted the socialistic pattern of society resolution, and the resolution was adapted at the AVD session of the Congress. And what is this AVD session of the Congress? Where the Congress has declared that no Indian people is working under the British companies. It was a remarkable decision which was taken, which was led to the resolution of socialistic pattern of society. After this, we have added the socialist word to the preamble, and we have adopted the democratic socialism. And what exactly this democratic socialism means. It supports a mix of both public and private sectors, and our aim is to end poverty, ignorance, disease, inequality of opportunity. This was the blend of both Marxism and Gandhism. Marxism says that everybody is equal, the economic status of everyone is equal. There's no rich, there's no poor, and there is no privacy. But Gandhism says that non-violence, peace, and we have to hold the privacy. And we are more towards the Gandhism. That's the reason why we blend both these socialisms and got both the public and private sectors get coexisted. It was fine. It was really good until the new economic policy of 1991 has got. It diluted the democratic socialism. The thing that which you have to remember when somebody calls and asks you what is a socialist, the only thing that which you have to utter is it is basically the both economic, the both mixed economy, the both public and private sectors coexist together. If you want the connectivity, just look into this table. And the next, secular. And this is the other word that which were added from the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, which is very simple. It says that no religion is supreme, all the religions are equal. Because it is a guarantee act of fundamental rights to freedom of religion from the articles 25 to 28. The most important and the prominent one is democratic. Now we are sovereign. That means we are independent. That means the power lies within the people. This is very clear, which was eventually led for the word of democracy. Here, the democracy has divided into two types. The first is direct and indirect. In the direct democracy, people will rule by themselves. Example, Switzerland, where people will rule by themselves by following four principles. One is referendum, which is people approve the law and people reject the law. An initiative, people propose a law. Recall, people remove representatives. Plebiscite, people express opinion on an issue. Whereas there is another democracy, that is indirect democracy, where people will elect a representative to rule themselves. And India adapts for this indirect democracy. And in this indirect democracy, it was again divided into two. The first is parliamentary and the second is presidential. And we India adapt for the parliamentary democracy. That is, The executive is responsible to the legislature. If we go deeper and find the deeper meaning, it says the principles that which we follow are universal adult franchise. Every adult has one vote. Periodic elections. People can change the rules for every certain period of time. Rule of law. Law is supreme, not the individuals. Independence to the judiciary protects rights and constitution. The judiciary is separate. The absence of discrimination. Equal political status to everybody, which eventually strengthens the word of democracy. It is simple. Democracy was divided into two types: direct democracy and indirect democracy. India chooses the indirect democracy, and in that indirect democracy, we have two types. The one is parliamentary and the one is presidential. And India chooses presidential, and in that it follows certain principles, that is, the universal adult franchise, rule of law, independent judiciary, absence of discrimination, and periodic elections. I hope it's clear. And Ambedkar always stresses two words. One is the political and the social democracy. And he says that there's a link between this political and social democracy. He says that political democracy cannot survive without social democracy, meaning voting alone is useless if society has inequality, caste obsession, or injustice. Whereas the social democracy is based on three words: liberty, equality, fraternity. He call it as trinity. He leaves a strong separate words, and that is liberty without equality is domination. Equality without liberty is dictatorship. Fraternity without the equality and liberty is equals to empty ideal. That's the reason why Supreme Court has emphasized democracy must ensure an egalitarian social order with social, economic, and social justice. This confirms democracy is not just political, but it is holistic. I hope you understood. And the next word is republic. And now, the word democracy means we can vote, people have right to vote, people are supreme. But the democracy has divided into some sectors that which we have already seen. In the same way, a republic has also been divided into two parts. That is, it can be a monarch or it can be a republic. Monarch is a person who is the head of the state, comes from the hereditary. Whereas in republic, people elect the representative in a fixed period of time. And we India choose republic, and the other is justice. Justice means fairness, giving every person what they deserve and treating everyone equally under the law. And it was divided into three parts: social, economic, and political justice. Social justice is no discrimination should be there, irrespective of their caste, creed, color, race, religion, or sex. And the economic justice is fair opportunities to end by reducing the poverty and the exploitation. And the political justice is where everyone should have the right to vote, right to the political rights, right to the chance to participate in the government. And the next is liberty, which is very easy. That is freedom to think, speak, act, and live your life in your way without any unfair restrictions. Freedom of speech and expression, freedom of belief, faith, and religion, freedom of movement, freedom to choose your profession, freedom to live your dignity. And all of this are protected in our fundamental rights. And this was inspired from the French Revolution. And the next, the most important one, is equality. Equality means everybody should be equal and there is should be no privileged persons, and it was divided into the three dimensions. The very first is civic, political, and economic. Civic: equality before the law, prohibition of discrimination on race, religion, caste, sex, or place of birth, equality of opportunity to public employment, abolition of untouchability, abolition of titles. Political equality is no one can be excluded from the electoral rolls on religion, race, caste, and sex. Election to Lok Sabha and state assemblies are based on the adult franchise. Economic equality: men and women have equal right to adequate livelihood. Men and women have equal pay for equal work. The next important one, fraternity. That is the sense of the brotherhood. It creates a feeling that all Indians belong to one family, and India is achieving that by giving them this single citizenship. And it was also included in the fundamental duty of Article 51A, which promote harmony and common brotherhood, renounces practices derogatory to the dignity of women, and upholds sovereignty, unity, and integrity of India. It was added from the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act. The rules of this 51A I have discussed: the dignity of women, protect sovereignty and integrity of India, and unity and integrity of the nation covers both psychological and territorial dimensions. Fraternity aims for the overcome communalism, religionalism, casteism, linguism, successism. That's it. Our words are completed. Now, the significance. These are the prominent people who has said their prominent reasons of why we should have the preamble. Krishnamachari Krishnaswamy Ayar says that and call it as the expression of what the founding fathers had thought or dreamed of. Munshi says it as the horoscope of a sovereign republic and democratic. Bhargava says that it is the most precious part of the constitution, the sole key and the jewel of the constitution. Ernest Barker says it as the keynote of the constitution. Hidayatullah says it as the preamble resembles the US Declaration of Independence but is more than declaration. Everybody says their own opinion. Just remember the opinions. And now, how did the preamble become the part of constitution? Even though it is not a even though it was written often the constitution. So what happened? So this was became prominent with the three independent individual cases. The first thing is because of the Birubari Union case. What happened in the Birubari Union case? Birubari Union is a small territory in West Bengal. Okay. After the independence, the boundary disputes were happened in between India and Pakistan. So at that time, the Nehru-Noon Agreement was there in 1958. It has said that in the territorial disputes, definitely this Birubari should be taken for the Pakistan people. It is not belongs to the India. So the India government has also decided that ki we will be giving this territory. But at the time of giving, there was a confusion. How can we even give our own territory to some other foreign states, even though it resembles our sovereignty without any kind of biases or a stable place to give? How can we give? At that time only they have got remembered of the Article 1 which describes that the India is a union of states. So what did they did? They did that. Okay, so that means we are giving our own territory to somebody. That means some kind of constitutional amendment must be required in our preamble also. So some kind of changes we are doing. So directly we will not give. We will give by amending ourselves. The constitutional amendment that which they did at that time was Article 368. Under Article 368 they have amended and they have given our territory to themselves. And now the at present the Birubari was there in Bangladesh. Okay, that's the reason why they got uh, given this our own territory to themselves. The next one is Keshav Nanda Bharati case, and this is like the most revolutionary case. In this case, what happened? Um, if any kind of as per the you know the Gandhism and Marxism principles, it states that if the land, the hospitals, government territories will be under the control of whom? The government. So in that case, what happened? This Kesav Nanda is a person, or he's a pandit in one temple. So at that time only what happened? The government has said that this territory belongs to, this land belongs to the government sector. So you just give this give this temple land to ourselves. But Keshav Nanda directly went to Supreme Court and said that this is overruling my fundamental right to property. If it is his own territory, but government is keeping its own restrictions, that key, this is my territory, you give to me. It is telling that if government is superior, if we knew that we should surrender to the government and listen what government is saying, but not like if it is violating my fundamental right, then also I am giving. It is not the right. So what did they do? Supreme has Court has given a remarkable statement that even though the Supreme Court, if they are violating the the individual fundamental right, then that is the violation to the people. That's the reason why they have made this preamble as part of the constitution. Because in preamble, each and every fundamental right of an basic right of the people will be included. That's the reason why they made. Okay. In the Birubari case, it says that preamble is not the part of constitution because it made an amendment, it made the changes. But here they made the thing that preamble should be the part of the constitution. So in the LIC of India case, what happened? The Supreme Court held the LIC is the state under Article 12, and the government action must be fair, reasonable, and non arbitrary in ordinance with the Article 14. It confirmed that preamble is the integral part of the Constitution. Okay, I want you guys to remember all these points such that this was the prominent reasons, which is the reason why now the preamble has become the part of the Indian Constitution. Okay, now preamble is not the source of the legislative power. Preamble is not justificable. The amendability of the preamble, that means can we change the preamble? Yes, in the Keshavananda Bharati case, it was very clear that we should definitely change the preamble if there is any kind of necessary things that if it is there, then we should definitely do that. But by not disturbing the basic features of the preamble. Okay, so I hope you understood. I want you to refer the tables for the connectivity of certain paragraph or certain words when you are looking forward. Thank you so much.